Greetings, Goldilocks. Today we execute wills with the executors of Denver and be perplexed with the police in the Catskills. Only thing I'll say is, you should have already legitimatized your will.
What about mine? Not really. Mine
Not
looks
as
low.
loud. Yours is always low.
Is it always like that?
It's always like that. My voice just takes up more of the register.
Oh, because you're such a big strong voice.
I am a big, strong voice.
Just didn't have to tell everybody.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, I'm Kendra.
And I'm Blake.
And this is Ghosts of the Gazette, where old news brings on new voices.
And forgotten headlines come back to life.
I didn't know we had Stitchy here.
Oh, Hannah.
Where's Lilo?
Lilo's dead.
Oh, sad.
Dead, it means nobody gets left behind.
That's what dead means, right?
That's what dead means, yes.
How?
Hi. I can't do it. It is July 27th, episode 22. And today we are traveling to the year 1912, and we'll be talking about stories that take place in mostly Denver.
As well as mostly New York State.
New York.
New York State.
I'm also touching in New York, so awkward.
Wait, what episode are we on again?
22.
I don't know about you, but I'm feeling
22. We always find a Taylor Swift reference somewhere.
We always find a Taylor Swift reference somewhere.
We're huge fans. Actually, Blake is a huge fan.
Massive fan of Taylor Swift, closet Swiftie. It's in the open if you ask me about it.
Yeah.
If you ask me about it, I don't follow her on Instagram.
Oh, that's huge.
I don't actually follow her on Instagram. I didn't know that about you. But I'm in the know of most Taylor Swift related things that are happening in the news. Did you hear she got married?
Oh, no.
Really? I just found that out.
You just found out?
Yeah, but I'm like a super
You're really
Swiftie.
Super fan.
I'm a super Swiftie.
We'll also have some extras for you, so stick around. Don't forget to.
Oh man, the people are coming to me and they are saying they're loving those extras.
We're gonna do another bonus episode soon, I think.
Yeah,
like a bonus extra
totally.
Episode,
in a few weeks' time, we'll have a nice little bonus with a bunch of extras.
I have so many extras. Like I have a long list right now. Of
you have trouble paring it down.
I really do.
I usually just I find my two or three, and then I just kind of
you stop looking.
I stop looking, or I just kind of zero in a lot of a little peek behind the curtain for some of our listeners.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really find a lot of my extras as I'm going. I kind of sometimes go back to all the sources that I have and kind of poke around. Oh, let's see what else is in this newspaper.
Oh, okay.
That's my
it's different the way that I do
it. It depends. Sometimes something jumps off the page. Like one of mine today jumped off the page.
Yeah. Sometimes the headline is just so randomly crazy and bizarre that you're like, I gotta look into that.
I wish I could tease one right now.
Oh,
do I tease?
No, I mean, go for it if you want to.
No, you're gonna have to listen and go and wait till the end of the episode to get to that one.
What a tease! Okay, well, I'm first this week, so
I'm excited. We don't know a lot about.
We don't. I just know the name of your story.
Listeners,
it might be.
It's a memorable name.
It might be.
It's not someone you've heard of. Definitely not anyone you've heard of. But it is a name you will not forget after.
It might be on par with Mr. Hamburger.
It's definitely more interesting, more memorable name.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's go.
Let's go.
I found my story reported on July 27th, 1912 in a paper called The Omaha Daily News. And I'm not going to tell you the headline, so stop asking me.
Please tell me the headline.
No, I literally can't. First, we're going back to June of 1912, and we're going to talk about a wealthy man named James Cooper Wheeler from Hollis, Long Island, New York, who was at this point quite a famous author of the time, writing works such as There She Blows.
Okay.
Which was a whale novel. So get your head out of the gutter there.
Okay. Whale novel. A
whale novel for
there
boys.
She Blows.
A
Okay,
whale novel
but why are you
specifically
saying
for
it's
boys.
for boys?
Because the
then?
papers kept saying it was
Well,
for boys.
It's There She Blows for boys.
For boys, and you girls
There
cannot
She
read.
Blows, a novel for boys.
Literally.
Is definitely about whaling.
For sure. But
Similar to
girls,
Moby
make sure
Dick.
you don't open.
Why do whale books have similar connotations associated
Innuendos
with
in
them?
there? I don't know. That's a good question. June 16th of that year, 1912, James Wheeler was in the papers because of some family drama that had arisen since the death of his father in 1895. James' parents were very rich, and he was essentially filing lawsuits against his own family for profits from estate sales and for properties of his father's that he believed was left in the will to him.
Okay, I deserve this stuff. It's my
Yep,
birthright.
It's my birthright. I'll give you some context on James Wheeler's family because I could write a whole novel on them.
Please do.
And I would
Please write
also
a
name
novel
it There
on the
She
Wheelers.
Blows.
There they blows.
There they blows. You don't have to remember any of the details, but I just kind of wanted to go
Perfect.
through.
I'm just going to
and
gloss
highlight.
over.
Yeah,
Everyone else,
don't even
you
listen.
Everyone else who's listening to this right now, keep listening. I'm just going to do my stuff.
His mother, whose name was Candace Thurber Wheeler, at this time was now 85 years old and was a leading figure in art and literary circles in Manhattan, and who had been famous as both an artist and an author as well.
So this is an artistic family.
Very artistic.
Okay.
She's also credited by some people as the mother of interior design, as it said that she was one of the first women to work as an interior designer in the U.S. and was a leading authority on home decoration in the 19th century.
Leading authority on home decoration.
Mhm. And I wrote here, she ran so Martha Stewart could cook. Do you like that one?
That's funny.
She was basically the champion for women who needed to earn a living by themselves, providing applied art training through her Society of Decorative Art, founded in 1877. And she was opening a lot of all-women companies, which was very big for the time, like huge.
Yeah, that's a crazy.
I know.
That's wild.
That's a wild.
That shouldn't be allowed.
Nope. Women should be working. She was also the sister of two brothers, Francis and Horace Thurber, who developed an international food manufacturing company called HK and FB Thurber and Co., which is a
their
mouthful.
names, and then their last
and
name
Co.
and Co.
Which turned into a multi-million-dollar wholesale grocery business specializing in tinned food, which was a new up-and-coming thing in the time.
What a successful family.
I know. James' father, Thomas M. Wheeler, who had died back in 1895, had worked with his wife's brothers at their grocery business and was responsible for shipping the goods in and out of the New York port.
Oh, interesting.
When he died, he left several valuable pieces of real estate, including residences and business structures in Manhattan, as well as a family home in Hollis, Long Island, known as Nestledown, which sat on 100 acres, and another big property in the Catskill Mountains called Ontario Park, which today operates as a country club still.
Well, fancy.
Yeah. James' sister was Dora Wheeler Keith, who was another famous portrait artist and muralist and also a designer. And finally, James's nephew, whose name was Henry L. Stimson, who was the U.S. Secretary of War at this time under President William Taft and again later under President Roosevelt during World War II.
Wow.
Isn't that insane?
What a successful family.
And that's just the tip
also,
of the iceberg.
Shout out Secretary of War. It's back, ladies and gentlemen.
Back.
Don't think that's a good idea. Doesn't matter. Discussion for a different podcast.
Yes. But yeah, isn't that insane?
Yeah.
Just like a wildly successful
Everyone's
family.
got something going on.
So now that you get the picture of his family, this lawsuit James brought on to dispute his father's will and estates was obviously huge news in the paper, especially since the Secretary of War was involved. So there was lots of talk about it in the papers during the month of June 1912. James was convinced that his mother, again being 85 years old, was being sort of manipulated by the rest of their family to misallocate funds from sales of some of the properties that he felt he deserved, as well as full ownership of the properties themselves.
A tale as old as time.
Mm-hmm. The suit involved property worth about $80,000 back then, which is about $2.5 million today.
Wow.
USD. He claimed that he had family letters for many years that corroborate what he felt he was owed. But then another article pops up near the end of the same month of June.
Interesting. And, just doubling back to that $80,000 worth of property.
Yeah.
That's just the conversion on the amount of money. The value of that property is probably 10 times that.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, that's just the conversion
just
on funds.
Yes.
That's
insane,
not even the
right?
100 acres they had on Long Island.
Yep.
It's definitely
They had
worth
a
a
lot
little
of
bit more than
properties.
$2.5 million.
For sure.
That's crazy.
For sure.
That is wealth.
Mm-hmm. Only weeks after this lawsuit hit the papers, on June 24th, 1912, a headline reads, "Miss Wheeler drowns from a fishing boat on a Colorado lake." It goes on to say, "Miss Candace Wheeler, a wealthy New York woman, was drowned yesterday in Bulls Lake near Littleton, Colorado." But this was not his mother, Candace.
What?
They were talking about James's daughter from his first marriage.
Oh.
Young Miss Candace Wheeler.
Oh, sad.
Yeah, who was like the third girl named Candace in this family at the time.
Interesting.
I know a lot of Candaces.
Interesting.
This paper goes on to basically say that James had not yet been notified about the death of his daughter in Denver, which is wild.
I had something like that too, where like a family hadn't been notified of something.
Yeah.
And it's in the paper now.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. Yeah.
And they just probably wouldn't read that paper.
No, I honestly, they were probably waiting for a telegram to get to him or something, or I don't know, but they were just like, by the way, he doesn't really know.
That's so interesting.
But first, who was Candace Wheeler? James's daughter Candace was 32 years old. She was the daughter of the author and his first wife, Annie Morris Robinson, who, fun fact, was born in Fredericton, New Brunswick, which is very random. He married her in Omaha, Nebraska in 1878. In 1892, 14 years later, Annie filed for a divorce, claiming that James had essentially deserted her and their then 12-year-old daughter Candace in Omaha 4 years prior, and he had left to go like live off in Australia, or he went traveling basically. Yeah,
I've got to go to Australia.
Got to go catch a croc.
Catch a croc. Hunt a dingo.
Hunt a dingo.
And I've picked up this accent.
His liver. Annie was awarded a divorce by the judge because of the desertion, and she had won custody of their daughter, as James offered little opposition to his wife's suit.
So funny. Like, sorry, awarded divorce and won.
She won.
And she won.
Congrats. Soon after, she had remarried, and Candace grew up there in Omaha with her mother, while her father, James, continued traveling around and finally put his roots back in New York. So he really wasn't present in her life at all, like growing up that much at all. 4 years before her death, around 1908, Candace and her mother had moved further west to Denver, Colorado, for health reasons, because her mom was struggling with some mystery illness they couldn't figure out.
Like, what are the health reasons? Are those like...
I don't know. And sadly, in 1911, Candace's mother, Annie, died suddenly, but Candace remained in Denver, sort of hopping around and staying with some friends. Poor girl. That's when Candace announced that she was engaged to a man named Otto Meyer there in Denver. Otto was formerly a member of the Minneapolis Symphony Orchestra and was currently working as a violin instructor. It's kind of cool.
Fancy.
Otto and Candace met through his brother, as his brother was the doctor who was looking after Candace's mother while she was sick. And his name was Dr. H.W. Meyer, but we'll just call him Dr. Meyer because it's way easier.
Yeah, definitely. There's just a lot of unnecessary letters.
The doctor brother.
Yes, the doctor brother.
On the day of June 23rd, 1912, Candace and her fiancé Otto, along with his brother, Dr. Meyer, and some friends were all staying at a lakeside resort on Bulls Lake just outside of downtown Denver. The story goes, she told the rest of the party that they were with that she wanted to take a boat out by herself to prove to them that she could catch a fish all by herself. So she took a rowboat and paddled to the middle of the lake, but that's when she lost her oar overboard. As it started to drift away from her, she leaned in to reach to grab it in the water, but was thrown into the water and unfortunately had drowned and sank into the lake before anybody could reach her.
Oh, that's really sad.
So sad. Oh. So sad. 2 days after she drowned, James was finally informed about the incident after reading the papers.
That's crazy. Oh, I can't even imagine. Like,
I know.
It's different when it's like maybe something on social media, but if it's the papers,
I know,
and you know that it happened like days ago, and you've just been going about your time.
Yep. And you finally read the paper.
You just read the paper, and it's like, what if it's not even the front page? What if you're on like page 3, and it's like, what? Like that would be the most mind-boggling experience.
After reading about the accident, James telegraphed to friends in Colorado, but was unable to obtain verification that it truly was her that was drowned. Candace, he said, had apparently written a letter to her father in New York to tell him that she was engaged to be married within a few weeks. Her father claimed that they were on good speaking terms at this point, but also claimed he did not know what her fiancé's name was. Candace's body was not recovered from the lake until July 2nd, almost 2 weeks later. I know. When they finally found her, it was found that all of her jewelry was missing except a necklace, which she still had clasped in her hands and which seemed to have maybe been broken off from her neck. So like basically 10 days in the water and she still had this necklace like in her hand.
But none of her other jewelry.
No.
Weird.
It was now coming out that 2 soldiers were the only people even near the scene, saying they saw her row her boat out, but then spotted her boat again sometime later, empty and just drifting around.
So she said to her friends, hey, I'm going to prove to you that I can go catch a fish. And they just let her go. No one was watching from the shore.
No one was watching,
She's
I guess.
like, I'm going to come back with a fish.
I saw one paper and it was like the Meyer brothers were maybe driving someone home or something at this time.
And so she wanted to surprise them with a fish?
Maybe. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
And so maybe she took off all her... Anyway, maybe she took off all her jewelry because she's going to go fishing.
Possible.
That doesn't sound insane to me.
It's
At
not
first
insane.
I'm like, where's the jewelry? But I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't wear a bunch of rings and stuff if I'm going
to go catch a fish.
Go catch fish.
And on July 10th, it was reported James Wheeler had another will he felt like he had to fight. A headline reads, Drowning of Denver Girl to be probed. First, James thought the manner of her death was suspicious. His stance was that if Candace did not drown after a struggle with someone, it was most strange that all of the jewelry she wore would then be missing, except a broken necklace. And the way she was clinging to it could indicate that she was endeavoring to save it after being attacked.
Very true.
Very true. Also, the fact that there was no witnesses to her drowning in the lake other than the soldiers who just kind of saw her empty boat. As well, James' lawyers wrote to Miss Emma George of Denver, a friend of Miss Wheeler's, who was there staying at the lake with her, but they also received zero answer from her.
What?
Secondly, Candace left about $12,000 in cash, which is about 400,000 USD today, which, along with her jewels, had all disappeared. In fact, it was later said that all of her money was drawn from the bank the day before she drowned.
Whoa.
Thirdly, a life insurance policy of another $12,000, so another $400,000, was assigned to Dr. Meyer shortly before her death, who, if we remember, was the brother of her fiancé. Dr. Meyer was also assigned as the administrator of her estate, as she had inherited a lot from her mother, who died the year prior, which would, I guess, explain maybe her money missing at this point, if that was part of her estate. I don't know. Otto Meyer says the insurance was assigned to Dr. Meyer for use in caring for quote unquote dumb animals,
what?
Which I'm guessing they meant like sick or injured animal sanctuary sort of thing. But she I guess explained that maybe it was, they kind of explained that maybe it was for like a charity that a big part of her estate was supposed to go to.
Yeah.
Anyways. So, in conclusion, her very recent will stated that she wanted to leave her entire property to Otto Meyer, her fiancé, but that she made his brother, the doctor, the sole executor of the will. James said that his lawyer also sent a letter to Dr. Meyer, but it also went unanswered, which is very bizarre to him at this point. Yeah, that's
sketch.
With James' probe into the incident that led to his daughter's drowning in the lake, the insurance companies also needed some more information as well. They were getting a little uneasy about the whole thing.
Yeah, it's definitely suspect. It's very weird.
It's very weird.
And like the brother being the executor of the will is also like, which
her will recently being signed.
It's kind of interesting. I can see it all. I can see it all happening like in this way.
Yeah.
But like I can also see it looking very bad.
Totally. The insurance companies that Candace had life insurance with started their own independent investigations as to whether or not the body that drowned was even that of Candace Wheeler's.
Whoa.
They said, because of many unusual circumstances surrounding this case, I've written to Dr. Meyer's attorney requesting them to join me in asking for an exhumation of the body. If they agree, action will be taken. They asked that Candace be exhumed so that a positive identification could be made that it was even her, which you think would have been done, but I guess at this point, she doesn't have any family around her.
Said it was her.
Exactly. Like he could
all
be
the
lying.
Friends said it was her, probably.
Yeah, so I understand. And so she was exhumed, and a dentist she had gone to recently did some comparisons of her fillings and positively identified her. So got that out of the way, I guess.
Okay.
But side note, one headline said, Candace Wheeler may not be dead. And when I saw those headlines, I was like, whoa, that's like
that's a twist
crazy
upon twist. You're like, gold mine.
I know. But anyways, so of course her father continues to fight and contest her will and the insurance payment of $12,000 in the Denver courts. In her will, she left only $1, which is about 35 USD today, to her father. And then, of course, the rest would be for the brothers.
$1 is an insult.
I was just going to say that, which I'm sure infuriated him even more.
Yeah.
James insists that Dr. Meyer hypnotized and brainwashed his daughter using what he called the subtle arts to make her sign a new will, leaving everything to them before she drowned.
Okay, what's your best guess as to what the subtle arts
are? Witchcraft.
Which you're instantly, it's a witch. He's a witch.
He's a witch.
Dr. Meyer's a witch. And we got to burn him. He still walks among us. Dr. Meyer walks among us.
It could have been a thought in his brain. You never know.
The subtle arts, like just kind of like touching her elbow and being like, it'd be really cool if you did this.
It'd be so cool.
But I don't really care.
But you don't have to.
But I don't really care.
So subtle. In his petition, he claims that, quote, through diverse subtle arts by him practiced to that end, the exact nature of which are to him unknown, came to have and possess power and dominion, influence, control over the mind of his daughter.
A lawyer wrote that. That's a guy that's been in court so much. That is a tough sentence.
Yeah. He's also claiming that at the same time that she never wrote it or even signed it. So I don't really know what his argument is here. It's both subtle arts and she never did it and she never signed it. So his accusations are kind of all over the place at this point.
Yeah.
Otto Meyer finally pipes into the dialogue in the papers in late August, telling reporters that I was engaged to Miss Wheeler and we were on a pleasure trip with my brother and other friends. And then he went on to say that after her death, an envelope was found which read, to be opened in the event of death.
Where was it found?
No idea.
On the table of the cottage?
No clue. No clue.
Because that's weird.
It's weird.
If it's locked away in a safe, sure, that's like a will.
Yeah. The letter basically told Otto that the majority of her estate and insurance was to be given to charity, as they said earlier, and that all that would be left to Otto was $500.
Okay.
He said it will cost more than that to pay her debts and funeral expenses. Papers went on and said that, quote, the girl's father, James Wheeler, an author, was termed a notoriety-seeking old fogey by Dr. Meyer.
An old fogey.
Fogey. He said he is simply after a little free advertising for his books. The girl did not like her father, and her will was made out so that the father would not have any way to obtain any money under it.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it kind of does.
Yeah.
It's all weird, but it kind of makes sense.
Also, he abandoned his family to go have like hunt dingoes in Australia when she was 14.
12.
I thought she was 14.
12.
Damn.
It's okay. You're really screwing up these details here.
Oh, man, that's bad. That's bad. Either way, she's on the cusp of adulthood.
Yes.
An impressionable age, whether it's 12 or 14. And he just dipped out. And he just dipped out. Your dad dips out? You know, like when the dad dips out?
No. So finally, a court date was made to contest her will before a jury panel, but not before another headline reads, author dies of suing to break will of daughter. Whoa.
Author dies because of suing to break will. No.
No. It was reported in a September 25th, 1912 article, only 1 month after the statement to the papers by Otto, that James Wheeler was now dead after coming to Denver to gather evidence for their lawsuit. Crazy.
Bruh. What?
The paper goes on to say, father of Miss Candace Wheeler, who was drowned in Bulls Lake near Denver, died here under circumstances which the authorities consider mysterious, and that Wheeler came to Denver last Friday in connection with a suit to have his daughter's will set aside.
Okay, so what happened to him?
The story goes that when James landed in Denver along with his attorney, he registered at a local hotel under a fake name of James Woodrow to avoid any publicity while staying there.
You know, super famous author of There She Blows.
There She Blows.
4 Boys.
The following Monday morning, James had gotten dressed for breakfast but started to feel sick. After about 6 hours of illness, he was dead in his hotel room.
What?
Which sounds suspicious, of
Bad
course,
eggs.
right?
Bad eggs.
However, it was later found that James had traveled to Denver against the direct order of his physician, who told him that he would not be able to handle the high altitude there.
Interesting.
Right? But of course, he didn't listen and ultimately died of what's called uremic poisoning, which was basically kidney failure and a buildup of toxins in his bloodstream.
Wow.
So that's why
and
he
then
quickly
made
died.
Worse from the
high altitude.
Wow. See, I was wondering when Candace's mother was the one that moved to Denver in the first place because she was sick. I was wondering if it had something to do with the altitude. That's what I know about Denver.
I guess she moved to high altitude.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I'm sure high altitude could help some illnesses.
True. His death made it the 6th member of Candace's family who had died in the last couple of years, making the papers label her family basically with like a curse or
Love
a voodoo,
a good curse.
This included her mother, her father, herself, as well as 2 aunts and an infant cousin who were murdered in Omaha a couple years prior, which I need to try and find that story. I meant to do it, but how wild is that?
That is wild.
Crazy.
We're going to have to bring everyone back in and see if that was something. Yeah.
After his death, his attorney, whose name was Emile, who was with him in Denver, had to figure out logistics of having his body shipped back east to his family. But his attorney told reporters that because James was now dead, that they were going to continue the fight against the Meyer brothers and Candace's will and life insurance money, and that the fight would continue on for James's family and Candace's stepmother and half siblings. And this is when I learned that James had 3 other children with his current wife, whose name was Zoe Wheeler.
So you're just like, oh, other kids have entered the chat.
Their children and Candace's half siblings were Thomas, Dora, and Frederick.
Frederick is a classic name around this time, by the way.
Yes, lots of Fredericks. I think actually his one of his other family members, the name is Frederick.
I have a Frederick in my story.
Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So now the contest and the lawsuit into her will continues by James's widow, Zoe, who was administrator of his estate, and a court date is set again for her to fight it. Until a November 1912 headline reads, Wheeler will probated. And probated basically means it was labeled as a judge as true and final. So her will was true and final.
Right.
The paper goes on to tell us that Zoe Wheeler did not show up to court to fight on her late husband's behalf.
She was like, you know what? It's not worth it.
Isn't that crazy?
It's not worth it.
So they lost the suit by default because she did not show up. He literally died trying to do this, and you didn't even bother to show up. Isn't that insane?
That's pretty bad.
But
you gotta show up, even if you don't think
that's
that
what
you're
he
gonna.
Died trying to do.
Well,
you gotta
if
follow
he was in the
through.
wrong, what if they had
know.
like a conversation? He was like, "I'm gonna screw over everyone. I'm gonna take all that money," and she's like, "That's wrong."
Maybe, but she did end up.
We're assuming a lot with that.
We are, but she did try and fight it a few times afterwards. But all the courts that she dealt with,
then no, she's
all
dumb.
said, "I know she's just dumb." Yeah. We also find out that James Wheeler's own will doesn't even mention his daughter Candace Wheeler. Big oof, my guy.
That's pretty bad.
He had a very large estate to be divided, and he left a third to his wife Zoe, and the remainder was to be given to his other 3 children, who would receive a small monthly payment between the ages of 21 to 30, and at age 30 they would be given the remainder. However, sad side note and spoiler, only one of them makes it past age 30 because 2 of them died in 1918 in World War I, which is sad.
Oh, that is really sad. I sometimes I forget what time we're talking about and how close we were to that.
Yeah, but the audacity of this guy to not put Candace Wheeler into fighting over her money.
She left him $1 more than he left her.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I know. We then also find out that he wrote up his will 5 years before they both died back in 1907. And the will that he was written by himself, acting as his own lawyer. And it was basically a self-made will.
Those don't really count.
So it was basically thrown out by a judge who said, quote, "It does not appear from the proofs offered that the document was declared to be his last will and testament in accordance with the statutes." He essentially didn't follow the rules according to what New York rules were at the time in getting his will legitimatized in front of a witness. So it was basically garbage. So now he's got business partners and lenders coming each and every way saying that he owed them money and all this. No. So of course that hurts his family now, who would likely then lose a lot of money. I'm pretty sure they did. I couldn't do all of the...
Yeah, it's not always...
Yeah. He lived, though, his last year of life concerned about everyone else's wills and estates that he wasn't bothered enough to fix and legitimize for his own family.
Oh my gosh, Kendra, this is like a perfect story.
Isn't this crazy? We later learn as well that several of Candace's friends tell the papers that Candace was very close with Otto and his brother, Dr. Meyer, and that it wasn't surprising to them that she would have left everything to them. Mm-hmm. They also said that they didn't believe they had any influence over her decisions.
She didn't have siblings. She didn't have her dad. Her mom had died.
Her mom had died. She had no family.
She was just with these two, her fiance, who she loved.
Her mom just died, so it's not crazy that her new will was just signed.
And also the doctor, he's a trustworthy person.
Yeah.
Typically.
He's got his shit together, probably, right?
Although we've covered some doctors that are not trustworthy people on this show. Mm-hmm. But I can see her train of thought.
Yeah.
Totally. It's not insane. I can see how it would look sketch.
Yeah.
But I can also see how it doesn't look sketch.
It looks weird, but it's also not weird. I don't know. It's so...
Given the circumstances, it makes perfect sense.
For sure.
that's how her will was written with those two in it.
Yeah.
It's the people of convenience, the people around her.
Yeah, totally. And that was going to be her husband. So she wanted to get on that.
Mhm.
Otto Meyer later told them family trouble, which occurred 15 years ago, I understand, was the cause of Miss Wheeler cutting her father from the will with only $1. The courts themselves said that, quote, the contentions that undue influence was exerted on Miss Wheeler by Otto Meyer is absurd. I believe her love prompted her to bequeath to Otto Meyer, her betrothed, all her worldly possessions. But truly, we don't know.
We'll never fully know.
Will never fully know.
But that's how it was upheld. So that's how it was divided anyway.
But that's my story, basically. Isn't that nuts? At first, I was like, oh my God, she was murdered. She was like, these guys did it. They told her to do this. And then blah, blah, blah. Her dad's just trying to get
so
his
funny when you're
money.
writing these
and then
types
it
of things
completely flips.
and you're researching these things, you sometimes have a narrative in your brain of like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. And then something like you find one article that completely recontextualizes everything.
And then you realize, oh, the father actually was probably a piece of shit.
It's so fascinating.
Yeah.
And it kind of tracks. He left them when she was between the ages of 12 and 14. We'll never know.
Around there.
Wow.
Yeah. Crazy, right?
And now we're going to move on to mine.
See ya.
So before I dive into the second story, I was hanging out with one of our listeners this week. His name is Mikey, and he's one of our biggest fans. Shout out, Mikey.
Shouts out.
And he was saying how kind of funny it is when we do our transitions from one story to the next.
Oh, yeah?
Like how you'll end a story and it'll be like, and then they were all brutally murdered. And then I'll be like, wow. So my story is from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. From the pit. You remember the pit? Baby Jane Doe.
Baby Jane Doe. So true.
Yeah, it's very much like that.
That's so funny.
With that being in mind, Kendra, I found today's headline.
In the pit.
In the pit. The Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. But unfortunately, my story does not take place in the pit, as previously mentioned.
In the pit.
In the pit. Baby Jane Doe.
Gonna be in the pit.
Today we'll be in New York, and surrounding areas, the metropolitan area.
We love New York.
Oh,
I feel like we have a lot of New York
I
stories.
love New York. The large apple, the big city.
I think it's the Big Apple.
The large apple. Le apple
grand.
grand. No, what's an apple? Pomme?
Le grand pomme.
Le pomme grand.
Le pomme grand,
Le pomme
possibly.
grand.
Yes.
Shout out to all
French
our
is so
French
backwards.
listeners. French is so backwards. You guys should figure that out.
Make it forwards.
So it's not every day that you choose a story solely because of the name associated with the case, but that's what I felt compelled to do once I read the name Dorcas Snodgrass.
Dorcas Snodgrass.
Yes.
Continue.
Such an interesting name. I was like, I have to know more.
Totally.
Right? At first glance, it's kind of a funny name.
At first glance, it's very...
And then
yes.
you kind of go in and you're like, what's with this? But that's what caught my eye.
Okay.
Truthfully, right off the
Totally.
bat.
That's fine. You're allowed to admit
So
that.
my headline read, and I'm going to tell you right off the bat. You didn't tell me your headline off the bat?
I
I'm going to tell
withheld.
you my headline off the bat.
Sure.
Trace of missing girl. Conductor thinks he saw Miss Snodgrass on a train for Cleveland.
Ooh.
And I was
no.
who's this missing girl? Who is Dorcas?
Dorcas.
What happened to her? Let's go back.
Let's go back.
On July 17th, 1912, Dorcas I think it was Iams, Snodgrass, 27, a nurse from Mount Vernon, New York, had left to do some shopping in the city. She was 5 foot, 5.5 inches, weighed about 135 pounds. She had dark brown hair as well as intense dark eyes. I found a photo of her
You
in a
have a photo
nurse's.
of her.
I have actually a lot of.
Sick.
There's a
I
couple
don't have
of photos
a photo
of her.
my girl. My poor girl Candace.
This was like a pretty big deal. She was like plastered on the newspapers because she went missing.
Okay. Yeah.
She had very intense dark eyes, and there's this photo that's kind of iconic of her dressed up in a nurse's outfit.
Yeah.
She's got like a white gown
crazy.
and a
This
white
is a
nurse.
great photo.
It's an excellent. There's a lot of really high quality photos.
This is
out there
very
of her.
high quality. This looks fake to me. This looks like someone did it the other day and then put a filter on it.
It's going to be on our
thing.
Instagram. Go ahead to our Instagram to take a look at the photo of Dorcas Snodgrass. It was said that she intended to go to Wanamaker's, a famous department store in the East Village of New York, and then head to Coward's, a famous shoe store in Lower Manhattan.
Oh, Coward's the shoe store.
Coward's the shoe store. She would often go shopping on trips into the city. This was just another run-of-the-mill day for her. The expectation was that she'd be gone for most of the day, but return in the early afternoon around 3 o'clock.
So not most of the day.
Just, most of the day. If you head off in the morning.
And you return early afternoon.
Then that's a lot of the work day. You're gone for 3/4 of the work day.
Disagree. Go on. I could shop for longer. Go on.
Yes, you can shop for longer. She set out for her trip in a black sailor hat, a white shirt, a tan linen skirt and coat, and an engagement ring.
Oh,
We'll get to that.
Okay.
Her demeanor was described as bright and cheery before she left the house. She told the children in the house that if she had any more leftover money from her day out, then she would each bring them a box of candy.
So she had children?
She
or
did
these
not
were just
have children
in
she
her
lived
house?
with children.
Okay.
So
all right. I'm sure we'll get into it.
Yes.
Okay.
8 o'clock rolled around and her family started to worry. She lived with her sister and her sister's husband, her brother-in-law,
Okay.
the Kreiders.
Okay.
By 9 p.m., they contacted the police and Lieutenant Silverstein was assigned to the case.
I like that they were on it fast.
They were like, this is weird. She always, because she was always going
now
on trips.
Now you have to wait at least
and
24
now
hours or something.
It was said around 7 p.m. They were like, this is weird.
Okay.
This is weird.
Good. I mean, good
So yeah, by 9 p.m., Lieutenant Silverstein is on the case.
Okay.
Over the next few days, he toured morgues and hospitals in the greater New York metropolitan area, as well as reading into every report of the finding of a missing person.
Okay, so it's been a few days.
It's been a few days.
Okay.
He was able to find that Dorcas was last seen by a friend going through the Grand Central Depot that same morning.
Is that like Grand Central Station? Okay.
Yes.
Got you.
After that, her whereabouts were completely unknown. She vanished.
No. Oh, man.
It's now July 22nd. 5 days later, and nothing else had come of Silverstein's search. It was on this day that the papers picked up and began to run with the story. And with this, the public began to find out more and more about Dorcas Snodgrass.
Okay.
Dorcas Snodgrass was born in West Virginia to John and Laura Snodgrass. Growing up, she was the fourth youngest of 10 children, I believe. I couldn't find much about her childhood other than in 1902, she moved to New York City to go to nursing school, where she lived with her sister Annabelle and her husband, John, the Kreiders, as previously mentioned before. Couldn't find the names of the Kreiders' children. I'm really sorry for not being able to find the names of the Kreiders' children.
You're fired. Get off this podcast.
But I picture a little boy and a little girl, and he's like wearing a little sailor
and they're like,
outfit.
candy,
and she's
get
like,
us candy.
Get us candy, please. She had moved to New York to become a nurse out of her love for caring for others. Up until her disappearance, she spent most of her time in a training school conducted by one of the hospitals in Mount Vernon. Mm-hmm. Over the course of the years, Dorcas had actually been engaged 3 separate times.
Okay.
First to a man by the name of Dr. Norman Smith. I think this might have been in the early 1900s. I couldn't find record of it.
Okay.
He may have been a doctor working at the hospital where she ended up working. Mm-hmm. Second to a man named Wesley Hawkins in 1909, only 3 years prior to this.
Okay.
For both of these marriages, she went as far as to make all the preparations for the marriage, but broke it off prematurely. I couldn't find the reason.
One of these guys did it. Go on.
And third, and finally, she was engaged to Frederick Edgar Schmidt.
Yeah, it was him.
Okay, let me go. Let me continue, please. To whom she was still engaged.
Okay.
Schmidt was an electrical engineer, also from Mount Vernon. They had fallen in love after meeting at a dance the previous winter. After feeling that the police's efforts were hitting a dead end, he hired a private detective firm to continue the search.
Okay.
Didn't seem like much really came from that at all.
Okay, well, it seems like he tried.
He did try.
Okay.
In the coming days, more information was revealed to the public. John Kreider, her sister's husband, was formerly the chief engineer of the New York, Westchester, and Boston Railway.
Whoa, huge.
And had recently accepted a position in California.
California.
Yeah. A lot of stories actually were saying that she was like a society girl. Like this was a family with a bit of
some
status.
Money. And,
yeah.
Okay.
He was the chief engineer of the New York Railway.
That's crazy.
Through
That's
the founding of the railway. Like this is the early 1900s. Like
crazy.
Yeah. He had gone ahead to make arrangements for the whole family, including Dorcas, to move to California on August 1st. That was only a few days. Like that was only like 2 weeks. Yeah. Frederick was also supposed to head to California with them where Dorcas and him were to be wed, to be betrothed, to be married. By many accounts, Dorcas was very excited to move to California, and her ticket aboard the train had already been bought along with everybody else's.
Oh.
A detail also arose that she had been complaining about an awful headache prior to her disappearance.
Okay.
A paper on July 23rd said, quote, her sister remembers hearing her complain of a pan in the head due to heat, but she had...
Do you mean pain?
Probably. I probably meant pain. I probably didn't mean a pan on the head.
Probably not the pan, right?
Yeah, and this looks like...
We'll say pain.
Yeah, so
Okay.
you and I will say pain. Everybody else listening can say pan.
But they're wrong. You guys are wrong.
Yeah, you guys are wrong. It's pain.
It's pain.
So due to the heat. But she had often said that the heat in her room near her work was suffocating, and nothing came of it. Mrs. Kreider took no notice of her remark. So I don't really know like who that quote was from. It was like... It was in the paper, but it was like her sister remembers hearing her complain of a pain, but made really nothing of it, which I guess makes sense. Like,
I mean, she was hurting, telling the papers, being like, "Oh, I made nothing of it."
She had also mentioned potentially seeing a doctor in the city for this pain in her head.
What the pan?
A pan in her head, but she never really mentioned a doctor's name or anything for this. Her sister Annabelle said, quote, she was a strong girl and not likely to drop and faint on the street and be carried to a hospital. She might have been taken in by some family if she were suffering from aphasia. Aphasia is a neurological language disorder that impairs a person's ability to speak, understand, read, and write.
Okay.
And then she goes on to say, but they would have surely reported that to the police and begun a search for her relatives. I cannot begin to think of the terrible things that might have befallen her.
Oh, man.
She's not the kind of girl to run away. I believe that she is temporarily deranged.
Okay, so she thinks that her pain in the head turned into like caused her to
some sort of psychosis or something. Like she could have been like they're not really jumping to she has been murdered yet.
Yeah,
they're like she's probably out there.
Just wandering around.
Someone's got to find her, which is probably a bit of denial, a little bit.
Honestly, probably.
Most likely. Yeah. Frederick, however, was a bit more blunt with what he believed may have happened. I found this quote in the Buffalo News from July 23rd, 6 days after her disappearance. Schmidt believes Miss Snodgrass is dead. He said, I'm afraid that she's been murdered, for there is nothing else I can think of but death that would cause her to stay away, leaving us in suspense.
So either he's being a realist or he knows something.
Yeah, potentially. In another article, when asked about Frederick Schmidt, Annabelle, her sister, said, the engagement was not very pleasing to me, but I thought that if after a year she still wished to marry Mr. Schmidt, I would have no objection. I question Mr. Schmidt, and I am satisfied he knows nothing of Dorcas's disappearance. So there's a bit of tension going on here between the family and the fiancé. So
she doesn't even really like him that much. Which is
interesting because all accounts, they were in love. On July 25th, news was published of Dorcas's brother, Edward, offering a $500 reward to any information that would lead to the whereabouts of Dorcas. He arrived from Virginia to assist with the search. There was some speculation in the papers that her former fiancé, Dr. Norman Smith, was a suspect, as he conveniently had left on a trip to Finland around the time Dorcas had gone missing. Papers and some officers were speculating that she may have actually left her current fiancé to run away with her previous one, which would have been 2 fiancés ago.
Yeah. She really missed him.
So, however, none of the employees that checked him onto the boat remember a woman accompanying him or anyone matching that description. And she also was not on the manifest for that ship that he was on.
So, big fat no.
As information and narratives changed day to day, Frederick Schmidt was now feeling hopeful and optimistic that Dorcas and him would be reunited. So he's changed his tune.
So he was like, she's dead, but now
a day later, he's like, you know what? I think she might be alive.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, weird.
Police were grasping at straws. They had started to attach more significance to things that may have happened to her due to these headaches that she had been suffering lately. So it's so interesting. When I was researching this story, and the narrative was changing day to day. Like I had to, so I was like searching up her name and then going day by day.
Right.
Because new information would come out and the whole narrative that the papers were running with in New York and like surrounding areas.
Murdered.
She's murdered. This guy did it. Oh, she's actually like, and they would always start things with like fact, like she's on a boat to Finland. And that's it's like, crazy. Like how your thing was like, she's not
even dead.
She's not even dead. It's like, she's on a boat. She's found on a boat to Finland. And then in the article, they is what some people are saying.
Crazy.
It was like clickbait, the OG clickbait.
Can't do that.
It's in these next few days after the story has been out for a while that I got back to my OG headline. Trace of missing girl. Conductor thinks he saw Miss Snodgrass on a train for Cleveland.
I forgot about the headline.
Yes.
Okay.
So the story went as follows. According to Leo A. Breeze, who was a conductor in charge of the train from New York to Chicago, said a woman answering the description of Miss Snodgrass hurriedly boarded his train as it was leaving the Grand Central Station last Saturday night. That would have been July 20th, 3 days after she would have been reported missing, but 2 days before the papers got a hold of the story.
Okay.
So it's kind of weird because they probably would have found it. Like she was going to Grand Central.
Yeah.
He said she had no ticket for either passage or berth. She wore a diamond ring on her left hand, was nervous in manner, and declared she was either going to Chicago or Cleveland, preferring the latter. So this story, like many others that came in the days after the disappearance of Dorcas, could not be identified as true or not.
Okay.
Like this happens today. Someone's missing. Everyone thinks they've seen her.
Yeah. There's so many tips and she's here, she's here, she's everywhere.
And we'll get into how many tips and stuff they got because this was like hot news.
Yeah.
I also can't stress enough how many articles stress that police were baffled by this case. It kept saying they were baffled. They were like, where did she go? There is literally no trace of this woman. She was at the train station.
It just sucks because she was at the train station and she could have just hopped on a train anywhere. Like it would be so easy to disappear at this point in 1912.
They were so far out of their element. And I looked up the population of New York at this time. It was still 5 million people.
Wow.
It's a lot of people to search through. And they're going one by one.
One by one, face by face.
You are not Dorcas Snodgrass.
Maybe no.
So the public had also started writing letters and calling the Kreiders to try and assist in the search.
Oh, man.
I will say this is one of the downsides of publishing your address. 140 Wallace Avenue in Mount Vernon was flooded with letters.
That's so true. Yeah. We shouldn't
I never really thought about that.
They always joke about how funny it is that, everyone's address.
And this is it's probably one of the cases for them not publishing letters, but they were flooded with letters, all of which were turned over to Lieutenant Silverstein and his men.
That's nuts.
So on July 27th, I found the headline, "Missing Nurse is Located on a Steamer."
Whoa.
A telegram has been sent to Annabelle by Mrs. Camilla Rosenbaum stating that she had seen Dorcas aboard the steamship Minnehaha.
That's hilarious.
Minnehaha was sailing from New York to Southampton. So Southampton is on the opposite end of Long Island, I think.
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
But so this, however, turned out to be one of those dead ends, as no one could account for her on that ship.
Okay, so she's not located.
No, I know.
Why would they put the headline, "Missing Nurse is Located"?
I know. Because, and in that article, it goes on to say, but
can't verify.
She wasn't actually there. Yeah.
What?
And what was interesting is this Camilla Rosenbaum wasn't even a passenger on the ship. They couldn't find her. I know. So it's just someone that sent, "My name is Camilla Rosenbaum, and I think I've seen Dorcas Snodgrass,"
who sent a letter saying
"Ooh, that's Camilla." That's an interesting theory. Mm-hmm. Okay, here's where we go. Okay. On Sunday, July 28th, the body of a young woman was found in Dubois Creek, Catskill Mountains area of New York, over 160 kilometers north of Mount Vernon.
Whoa. Also
very far. Super sad.
So she is gone.
Yeah. Discovered by a man by the name of James Young on a Sunday afternoon. She was found lying face down in the mud and weeds on the shore of the creek. James was canoeing with his daughter when they found the body. For some context, Dubois Creek is a small offshoot of Catskill River, which itself is an offshoot of the Hudson River. The Hudson River runs north-south. Mm-hmm. Catskill River runs east-west, and then Dubois is a small little jut off of that. It's a very small creek, kind of really windy and difficult to traverse.
Right.
It's named Dubois after the Dubois family, who was one of the first settlers in the area, whose residence and farm had originally been nestled on the shores of the Hudson in Catskill.
It's crazy that we're both had stories in Catskill.
Yeah, interesting, right? Yeah. And the Dubois family, they're still the Dubois farm is still a company that's around in that area today.
Wow. And that's where my guy had a big old property too.
The police arrived on scene and immediately inspected the body. There was an engagement ring on her finger, a black bag around her arm, and on the tags of her clothes, they found the word Snodgrass. Oof. It looked as if her body had been in the water for around 4 days.
What?
Authorities found no traces of water in her lungs. which meant she had not died from drowning. Boats rarely passed that portion of the Dubois Creek, which allowed her body to stay in that spot for days, avoiding detection. Immediately, speculation started. Was she murdered? How did she get so far away from New York City?
Yeah, true.
Like 160 kilometers north. That's
you can't even
so
take a train
far.
that way, I don't think, right? Probably not.
Looked into it. There is a train that goes up there.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was a pretty hot tourist destination.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But no marks of violence were also found on the body, that the coroner said. He said he could not state positively that she had, in fact, been murdered. This led the public to speculate on whether or not she was poisoned or drugged and then dumped in the river. And Frederick, her fiancé, even said that they knew no one in the area.
Yeah.
Like, why is she up in the Catskills?
Yeah.
So on Monday, July 29th, Lieutenant Silverstein took Frederick Schmidt to the Catskills, where Dorcas was positively ID'd. In the coming days, the police struggled to account for Dorcas's movements as they tried to find the logic behind her death. Something interesting that I found while researching is that Dorcas's brother Jock had previously worked at the Dubois farm in Catskill.
Oh.
He lived on the property in a house that was only about a mile from where her body was found.
Interesting.
Her family dismissed this, though, as a wild coincidence and said he only worked there for a short time and Dorcas knew nothing about that.
Okay.
But it's weird to me, like, they're just assuming she had no clue about that, but he wasn't working there currently. So there's no real reason for her to go there currently.
Did she visit him while working there? Maybe knew someone?
I mean, they were saying he hadn't, and she was living with them the whole time. So
yeah, interesting.
Yeah, and I don't know how old her brother was. So, but this was not the only Snodgrass-related coincidence in the Catskills.
What is happening
I
in
know.
Catskills?
In the cemetery where Dorcas's autopsy was performed, there is a grave reading Edgar Snodgrass, born at Parkersburg, West Virginia, died in Catskill, 1900.
Oh.
Edgar was a potential cousin of Dorcas's. They're also from West Virginia.
Okay.
He was a printer and employed by the newspaper at the Catskill Daily Mail. When asked about it, Dorcas's immediate family had no idea there had ever been a Snodgrass living in the Catskills.
Oh.
And that they weren't even acquainted with them. It was like cousins.
Oh, so a different Snodgrass.
But they were cousins. They all came from...
distant family Snodgrass.
But like not even that distant. It was like a cousin of Dorcas's.
Oh.
Like her grandfather's other kid's kid.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Like her
She just
uncle's
didn't
her
even-
uncle's
they just
kid.
didn't even know.
Her
really.
uncle's kid. They just didn't know that he was up there.
Okay.
And he had died 12 years prior to this anyway. A theory has been tossed around that she was poisoned, right? And her body disposed of near the end of the creek, which stretched about 1 kilometer in length and curved dramatically many times. Like very snaky river.
Right.
A creek, really. Not even a river. It's like a little creek. It would have been very difficult to carry a body or pilot a boat to that section of the creek.
I wonder if she floated in. Okay.
To investigate this claim, Sheriff Abraham Post and another man, Mr. Wilbur, threw a dummy that was dressed like Dorcas and weighed down in a similar way into the waters at the entrance of the Dubois Creek. The experiment found that the dummy was able to traverse the massive curves and snags even while technically heading upriver due to the changing tides.
Oh,
so just doing little movements.
Like that they did the test.
After this, they also threw a plank of wood near the mouth of the river again, and by the next morning, it had landed exactly where Dorcas's body was found.
Interesting. Okay. All right.
After the inquest into Dorcas's death, it was the coroner's finding that they could not determine a cause of death.
That sucks.
I know.
Because today they probably would have been able to, obviously.
Yes.
That sucks.
Unofficially, he believed in theory of death by either accident or suicide.
I'd say accident.
He believed in this theory mainly due to her previous failed engagements and that she had not wanted to head to California with her family.
What? She said she was excited.
I know.
She has like a new man.
So
Go to
here's where it
California.
gets weird. Again,
But you never know.
by all accounts, she loved Frederick Schmidt, right?
Yeah.
She was excited to move to California, fresh start, like we're saying.
Yeah.
But this is unfortunately where like the trail runs cold. On a paper on August 3rd, only 6 days after Dorcas' body was found, read, the county officials are today at a standstill in their efforts to unravel the mystery of Miss Dorcas Snodgrass. They declare that they have followed up on every clue, but have been able to learn nothing to shed light on the mystery. I was informed today that Mrs. Snodgrass's sister has started back to California, satisfied that no suspicious circumstances surrounds her sister's death.
What?
In view of that fact, We can see no reason for any additional expenditure of the county's money unless something tangible develops.
Okay.
So Dorcas's family just accepted the coroner's unofficial statement of she died by accident or suicide.
But why was she even there?
I know. Why
She was
was
going
she
shopping.
there? It's crazy because her sister changing the narrative that she had started with at the beginning. So at the beginning it was she's happy. She would never do anything like this.
Yeah.
And then 2 weeks later was like, I guess she did kill herself.
Crazy.
Or I guess it was an accident. But they leaned more towards
An accident? She wasn't even supposed to be up there.
I know.
Anyways, yeah.
A very weird statement, right? Just so weird. A few days later, it was reported that Dorcas's grandmother passed away suddenly of grief.
Oh, sad.
One paper said, unable to rally from the shock of finding the girl's body in a creek near Catskill, Mrs. Arabella Snodgrass, 85, is dead in a hospital where she was taken for treatment a week ago.
Oh, sad.
But the timing of this was kind of weird. Like, yes, she died of grief, but also she was taken for treatment
A week ago.
Before the body was found.
Okay, yeah, that is weird. But
yeah.
I mean, hearing that your granddaughter was found while you're already sick in the hospital.
Yeah,
is
no,
a
that's
rough
so
one.
sad. I also need to mention something interesting that was mentioned multiple times, like in other articles. Like it said, it's very much similar to this.
Okay.
So it was frequently compared to the disappearance of Miss Dorothy Arnold 2 years earlier.
Okay.
A much more famous disappearance with a 25-year-old daughter of a wealthy fine goods importer. To give you a super quick rundown, Dorothy, born and raised in Manhattan, had disappeared while shopping in New York, similar to Dorcas. Yeah. She was last seen by a cashier and a friend on Fifth Avenue on December 12th, 1910, about 2 years before Dorcas's disappearance. Same as Dorcas, Dorothy was said to be in good spirits and even chatted with a friend briefly about an upcoming party they were both excited for. Her disappearance was not reported for weeks, as it would be seen as embarrassing for her family at the time.
So
They were
brutal.
of high status, all that stuff. So her father hired private investigators instead. And when they couldn't find anything, then they called the police. And today her whereabouts are still a mystery.
Oh, man.
There's a lot of stuff. And so they were always like, it's Dorothy all over again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was only 2 years prior.
That was only 2 years prior.
Interesting.
And there's another thing I need to mention.
Oh.
Amelia Danby. She was either 16 or 18, also of Mount Vernon, actually went missing on July 13th, 4 days before the disappearance of Dorcas Snodgrass.
Where did she go missing?
From Mount Vernon as well.
Oh, from Mount Vernon.
Yeah.
Okay.
The papers reported them as friends, Dorcas and Amelia, stating that the friendship had
interesting.
started when Amelia was a patient in the Mount Vernon hospital where Dorcas worked. There's a bit of like an age gap to be like friends. So I don't know how much friends they were,
Yeah.
but probably friendly. They knew of each other at
Yeah.
least. They said all the papers wondering if there was like a connection between the two
connection,
girls.
yeah,
Is
of
there
course.
it's wild.
Like, is there someone that they both know somehow?
Yeah, I know.
Or like, were they, I don't know. Yeah, that's
I
crazy.
know. But on August 4th, Amelia returned home.
Oh.
Yeah, a few weeks later. And a paper that I found read, and it was so weird. I'll say after this.
Okay.
So a paper I read said, from statements made by the girl, it appears she was persuaded to leave her home, and the probability is that police may be called upon to act on it. Miss Danby said she went to Classon's Point on July 13th with a friend who lives in New York and works in Mount Vernon, and was induced not to return. She intended to come home, but was afraid to do so. This case was deemed unrelated to Dorcas's.
But did she ever say who her friend was?
You know what bugs me? There was only one paper that said she had returned.
That's awful.
Everything else, like nothing else reported on her returning. Like there was two. There was like New York Times reported that she had returned. But no other paper that I could find.
You need so much more information. Like, who persuaded you to leave your house?
I think it was like a guy she was seeing.
Right. Yeah.
That's my theory.
I guess
As a guy
so.
she was seeing.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then going back to Dorcas, why did she go to the Catskills?
Yeah.
And I do believe potentially that maybe this pain in her head was causing something.
Yeah, which is very
But
possible.
something to hop on a train and go 160 kilometers north
go do something
to the Catskills?
It's very bizarre.
It is a very popular tourist destination.
Yeah.
But on a whim, it's kind of strange to do that.
Yeah, this is a tough one because it could be a mental health thing.
Yeah.
But it's also very suspicious.
But then how did she, if it's a mental health crisis, then did she commit suicide she didn't drown.
No. Yeah. So it's not like she threw herself into the water.
Yeah.
Unless she poisoned herself.
This is all the details that I have. And wouldn't you
wild.
say that like potentially the coroner, I guess they didn't have a way of testing for certain poisons.
No, they didn't.
But I think, okay, so my kind of theory with Dorcas Snodgrass is that she did maybe suffer from some sort of psychosis that led her to maybe realize, maybe she had a moment where she's like, I don't want to go to California. I'm feeling hesitant. My sister isn't like loving my fiance. Am I doing the right thing? It was just a big build up. She started freaking out a little bit.
Very understandable.
And she goes up to the Catskills. It's a tourist area.
Yeah. Just to kind of get away from it and then
get away from everything and maybe come back. And maybe that pain in her head was so much, it was impairing her judgment.
Maybe she pills or something to try and help.
Something. Maybe she fell asleep and fell in. There was also another detail that like she still had her bag on her arm.
Yes.
So that almost feels like falling or like
possible.
Like she fainted, but she didn't drown. But she fainted and then fell into the water.
And there was no marks on her or anything. I don't know. That's a tough one. And the
brush around Dubois Creek was so thick that you couldn't like traverse that area and throw a body into there. Like I do believe her body floated down into the end of that creek. I don't think it was disposed of.
No, yeah.
I do think that the tides took her down that way. So it's like, did she slip in, but then she didn't drown? She must have had maybe some sort of like brain aneurysm potentially.
Could have, yeah.
And you wouldn't really necessarily, maybe that wouldn't really...
It's just bizarre that she's
It's so weird. It's that's what it's like. If this were like in New York City, then it's like maybe a little bit more. Maybe it was a suicide. Maybe it was like more of an accident. But the fact that she had to hop on a train and go so far away, and even like I found that there was a train, but like I don't know the train schedules.
Yeah.
I don't know if she hopped on a train that day. I couldn't find that stuff. I was looking for train schedules in 1912 on those days.
Oh my gosh.
I could not find it.
Yeah, no
but,
shit.
But yeah, like, isn't that so
That's cool.
odd?
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
There's so many. I hate that we don't know. I hate it.
I know.
This is one of those ones where you just want to know.
It's a very it's not a famous cold case, but it's a thought about cold case. Shout out to the one Reddit thread that I found. There's one Reddit thread where people are just kind of hypothesizing on it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to look that up.
Yeah. It's from 7 years ago. It was posted quite a while ago, but it had some good links. That person, shout out that person. They put a lot of links to a lot of their sources, which I filled in some details about my story with those sources, which is kind of cool.
So credit where credit's
But yeah,
due.
that's my story, and we'll never know, unfortunately.
Know. So sad.
Now it's time for
extra.
Extra, read all about it. Blake and Kendra got a couple little fun little tidbits they found while researching your stories that they want to share with you.
Okay, Kendra, it's your turn. You're first.
Thanks, Blake. I'll take it away. July 27th, 1912, Titanic Mysteries, alleged reappearance of Captain Smith.
Oh, Captain Smith.
Captain Smith.
Captain of the Titanic. With the beard, the guy that was from Lord of the Rings. Go ahead.
That guy. This is crazy. Crazy if true. Crazy if true. An astonishing story is told by Captain Peter Priol, one of the oldest mariners of Baltimore, well known in shipping circles, who sailed with Captain Smith of the Titanic when the latter was commander of the Majestic. Captain Priol, according to the Daily Telegraph New York correspondent, said that he had seen and talked to Captain Smith on Friday at Baltimore on St. Paul streets. He declares that he walked up to Captain Smith and said, "Captain Smith, how are you?" This is post-Titanic, by the way.
Yeah, this is very post-Titanic.
Then according to Captain Priol, the man answered, "Very well, Priol, but please don't detain me. I'm on business." Captain Priol says he followed the man and saw him buy a ticket for Washington, and as he passed through the gate of the railroad station, he turned, recognized Priol again, and remarked, "Be good, shipmate, until we meet again."
That's a ghost.
I just got body chills.
That's a ghost.
"There's no possibility of my being mistaken," said Captain Priol. "I've known Captain Smith too long. I know him even without his beard. I firmly believe that he was saved and in some mysterious manner brought to the United States. I'm willing to swear to my statement." Captain Priol, the correspondent adds, is a plain citizen, a teetotaler, and a churchgoer, and one of the last men it is believed to desire publicity. He realizes that incredulity his statement will awaken. People will say I'm either a second sight man or insane, but they are mistaken. I simply believe the evidence of my eyes and ears. Dr. Warfield of Baltimore vouches that Captain Priol is perfectly sane.
So you saw a ghost.
So first, he saw a ghost, maybe.
Mm.
Or B, Captain Smith somehow got saved.
You're right. Actually, yeah, I was saying ghost. That guy definitely died, but he could have abandoned his post.
He could have abandoned his post last minute. Someone could have somehow...
He could have hopped on a door.
Hopped on
He
a
could have
boat.
hopped on a door. He could have been. He could have
Jack,
pushed Rose
but
off
on the door.
Come on, Captain Smith. Come on, Captain Smith. Rose, come on, Rose. Come on, Jack.
Yeah, it could have happened.
It definitely could have happened.
I need to do more of a deep dive on this because
on the ghost of Captain Smith.
I should look it up in the papers to see if anyone else had any.
That would be crazy.
That would be crazy.
Multiple people seeing other sightings of Captain Smith.
That would be crazy. We'd have to
crazy.
rewrite history together.
Okay, mine is from Saturday, July 27th, 1912. Maid stomach hardware room. A convict undergoing a long sentence at Lensburg attempted suicide by converting his stomach into a hardware emporium. While the warders were not watching, he swallowed every piece of metal and glass he could find in the courtyard. When the physician operated, he removed, and this is insane, 147 nails, 69 screws, 24 pieces of glass, 9 bits of lead, 22 brass heads of nails, 3 collar buttons, and the broken blades of a knife and chisel. He will recover.
Whoa.
And he will return in Avengers Doomsday.
Recover from that? As if. That's crazy. Well, and I hope he got his mental dealt with as well after this.
Probably not. It was 1912.
Cool. Okay, July 24th, 1912. Trombone player annoyed. Herman Hand of 1271 Hoe Avenue, Hoe, the Bronx, was in the Morrisania court yesterday complaining about a young woman who he says has followed him around the world and constantly annoyed him. Hand is a trombone player in Sousa's band, and he told Magistrate Breen that he met Miss Louise Nutter, who is 26 years old, on a steamer going from South Africa to Australia in May of 1911.
On a steamer.
Hand said that when the band was in New Zealand, Miss Nutter followed him and forced her attentions upon him there. She found him afterward in America, Hand says, and even followed him through Canada. Recently,
Not through Canada.
Through Canada. Recently, when he came to New York, the musician continued, she came here too and took a room at 4 East 43rd Street. Hand added that he had been so annoyed by telephone messages and letters from the young woman asking him to marry her that he finally had been compelled to try to stop it. Miss Nutter was hysterical in court while Hand was telling his story, and she composed herself with difficulty to go on the stand. She admitted that she had followed the musician, but said he had promised to marry her in 1911, she said, and she was only trying to make him keep his promise. She said that she had given Hand several pieces of jewelry and that she was trying to recover these. Hand denied that he had ever received any gifts from her. When Hand entered the court, Miss Nutter jumped from her chair and ran screaming toward him, but she collapsed and had to be taken care of in another room. Miss Nutter was discharged on her promise not to annoy Hand anymore.
That's on a promise?
On a promise.
We got a baby reindeer situation over here.
I will not annoy him anymore.
That's crazy.
Girl.
Miss Nutter is a little...
She needs to also get her mental taken care of.
Yeah, hopefully she did.
And hopefully she did.
Wow, so she followed him around all over the place.
All over the world.
That's
Which
great.
is honestly
that's actually wild because
impressive.
That's very impressive.
It's 1912.
Yeah,
like,
I
it's
think
harder
we
than
skirted over that for a second. We're both realizing how impressive that was in 1912.
Like she had to put in a lot of work. It's not like she's on Instagram seeing where he's going to his next place. Like
she had to hop on hella boats.
Yeah. Isn't that wild?
Whoa.
Good for her.
So my next one is Jack Barrymore beats barber.
Jack? No.
Jack Barrymore, the actor who is starring in a local stock company today.
Oh, Jack Barrymore.
Jack Barrymore.
Like of the Barrymores?
Of the Barrymores.
Whoa. I
Yeah.
didn't know there was Barrymores. I thought it was just Barrymore.
And this is in 1912. This is before he made like his big break.
Oh, wow.
He was still like a well-known
Sorry, is it
like
her dad
stage.
or her
It's her grandpa.
grandfather?
It's
Yeah,
her grandpa.
okay.
So Jack Barrymore, the actor who's starring with a local stock company today, pleaded guilty to assault when arraigned before police Judge Williams. He will be sentenced Monday. Barrymore became entangled last night with a barber at a local hotel. Eyewitnesses say the actor had the better of the fist fight, which followed.
I don't like violence. But crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't know
I was like, Barrymore,
family,
Jack Barrymore.
I didn't know her family was also
They've
in
been
the limelight.
acting. They've been acting. Oh,
so, interesting.
Drew Barrymore, if you've seen this, your grandpa, he was
grandfather
a bit of
kinda
a
sucked.
rapscallion, in his younger days.
Yeah, I guess so. Scary. This is another July 27th, 1912. Didn't get roses for 19 kisses. James York of 915 Broadway was in Gates Avenue Court today on complaint of Margaret Wyeth, a friend of his landlady, who declared he had assaulted her with a book.
Okay.
He testified she had agreed to give him 19 kisses on July 2nd, her birthday, in return for 19 roses. He failed to keep the agreement and declares he held a book up between them to prevent her from assaulting him. Magistrate Naumer dismissed the case after instructing Miss Wyeth not to put a premium on the price of roses.
So she said, I'll give you 19 kisses
if you give me 19 roses. He
held up a book.
He didn't come with 19 roses, and so he had to hold up a book.
Because she was going to try and kiss him?
Yeah.
Something's not adding up here.
And then she said that he assaulted her with the book.
19 kisses plus 19
Plus
roses
book.
equals book. In
Assault?
front of face, assault, question mark. They know what they're talking about, I'm sure.
Is it an inside joke? I don't know.
James had 19 roses. Margaret had 19 kisses. If James
brought a
gave
book.
Margaret a book and didn't bring his roses with him, and Margaret was inverting the negative to a positive of A plus B squared equals book. Crazy. So my next one is her record, 111 descendants.
Whoa. That's Ancestry.
Miss Catherine Teach, who was one of the early settlers in Illinois, died last night at Fairfield, near here, where she had been visiting at age 91. Miss Teach leaves 111 direct descendants,
Whoa.
9 children, 50 grandchildren,
50?
and 51 great-grandchildren, and 1 great-great-grandchild.
Wow.
And that equals 111 descendants.
So if you carry the one.
So they've done the math in this one for us.
And then you add 50 to 90. That's crazy.
Yeah.
111. Wait, so 9 children had 50 kids?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's okay.
It's a lot. Well, her 9 kids.
9 kids
each
having
had,
50
each had
kids
4 kids
in
each.
total?
Up to 50.
That makes
9
sense, I
times
guess.
4 is not 50, Blake.
Carry the one.
Oh my goodness.
And then add 10. It's a 111.
Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Ghost of the Gazette, where we will be posting photos and clippings from today's episode.
Subscribe to us on YouTube at Ghost of the Gazette. You can also follow us and support us on TikTok.
Tink Tonk.
Tink Tonk. For our next episode, we will be jumping to 1943. And let us know in the comments your thoughts on our stories today. Just both of our stories.
Yeah, like what do you think?
What do you think?
What do you think?
What happened to
in
Dorcas
both of our
Snodgrass?
stories? You
Very
can also
sad.
email us at ghostofthegazette@gmail.com.
Thank you again for stepping back in time with us. And thank you for listening. Until next
time. Bye. Ghosts of the Gazette is written, produced, and haunted by Blake Garvey and Kendra Clark. Original theme by Kelly Steinhoff.